Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wassalam ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen. Allahumma allimna ma yanfa'una. وانفعني ما تعلمنا وزدنا بفضلك علما تعليما إنك على كل شيء قدير. Okay, so that باب من دعا بطول. Okay, it says باب من دعا بطول عمر, making dua for long life. So the issue here then is, why would you make dua for long life? That's like making dua for the dunya, right? Or why would you make dua for somebody else to have a long life? Isn't that just for dunya? The answer is yes and no. First of all, should you make dua for the dunya? Yes, you should make dua for everything. So Allah, give me health. Oh Allah, make the itch on my nose go away. Every single thing you should make dua for, of course, right? That's number one. Number two, excuse me. Number two, what I was going to say is long life means opportunity to do lots of good deeds, right? So that's a good thing. So it says Babu man, اللهم باب من دعا بطول العمر. حدثنا قتيبة قال حدثنا الليث عن يزيد بن أبي حبيب عن أبي الحسن مولى أم قيس ابنة محصن عن أم قيس أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لها ما قالت. قال طال عمرها ولا نعلم امرأة عمرت ما عمرت. Well, we did this hadith last week. 652, Mustafa.
I think we start at 652.
Mm-hmm. If you can read this one, 6-5.
Qais reported that the Prophet, may Allah bless and grant him peace, said to her, "What she said will make her lifelong." They said, "We do not know of any woman who was given the long life that she was given."
Mm-hmm. So there's a whole story. In that story, the Prophet said, "May Allah give her a long life." And we said we don't know anybody who lived longer than that. So the Prophet made dua for somebody who lived for a long time, and they lived for a long time. حدثنا عارم قال حدثنا سعيد بن زيد عن سنان قال حدثنا أنس قال كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يدخل علينا أهل البيت فدخل يوما فدعا لنا فقالت أم سليم خويدمك ألا تدعو له, or خويدمك as well, ألا تدعو له. قال اللهم أكثر ماله وولده وأطل حياته واغفر له. فدعا لي بثلاث فدفنت 103 وإن ثمرتي لتطعم في السنة مرتين وطالت حياتي حتى استحييت من الناس وأرجو المغفرة.
And it said, the Prophet, may Allah bless and grant him peace, used to come to us, the people of his house. One day he came to us and made supplication for us. Sulaim said, "Won't you make supplication for your little servant?" He said, "Oh Allah, give him a lot of wealth and children, make him live long and forgive him." He made supplication for me 3 times. I will be buried when I am 103. My fruits can be eaten twice in the year, and I lived a long time until I was embarrassed in front of people, and I hope for forgiveness.
So he says, "I will be buried when I'm 103." That's not correct translation at all. So it says, where is it? So, where is it? What happened? 653, 653. Oh, I skipped the page here. So it says, "Oh Allah, make his money much," right? Yeah. So then he says, فَدَعَا بِثَلَاثٍ فَدَفَنْتُ 103. I have buried 103. Not I will be buried at 103. I.e., of my children, I've buried 103 of my children. Right? So I imagine the ones who are still alive. Right? So somebody said, he has 10 kids, they had to bury 2 of them. Right? SubhanAllah, 2 of them died. He's saying, no, I have I've what's it called? I have buried 103 kids. So let alone the other kids. So I think he had something like I mean when he means kids, he means children and grandchildren. So I think he had 80 children and he had 80 children and something like 300 grandchildren. Well, a lot of them died of the plague. Right? It was a plague that during that time. Um, just talking about it's called the plague of Al-Jarif. So he said once, Anas said, I have lots of money and I have lots of children, and my children's children are about 100 today. Yeah. So here's a question: how on earth did he have 80 children then? How on earth did he have 80 children?
I didn't understand the question.
Say it again, Yusuf.
I said, I don't understand the question.
How is it possible for one person to have 80 children?
Multiple wives.
Multiple wives. So even four wives, can you have what, 20? Each wife is going to give 20 times?
Some concubines as well.
Exactly, right? So here, this is a key theme, right? Today we live in this world where there's abuses of polygamy, right? Have you seen abuses of polygamy, Yusuf, in Yemen?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not fair, right? It's like not a good system, right? Sometimes, or people who maybe they're for example Yemenis, for example, they're married in Yemen and then they come and work in the States and they'll get a second wife. The first wife doesn't know, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's not good, right? That's basically cheating on your wife, right? That's not fair. Um, 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 so what was I going to say? Uh, So there's obvious number one, there's obvious abuses of polygamy. Number two, we live in a world where we're answerable to a bigger system, right? There is a bigger system in the world, which is the liberal West, and we are continually answerable to that, and we have to explain ourselves to that, right? Whereas if we look at the Sahaba basically all practice polygamy, right? It's like you look at their lives, like it's just normal, right? Um, and it's obviously very, very difficult. What do we expect from our sisters in Islam? Is sisters in Islam, is it hard? Yes, 100% hard. Is it good? Yes, 100% good. Should you open that door with your husband? Yes or no? If you can't deal with it, literally cannot deal with it, then you shouldn't do it, right? That's like, for example, that's like somebody praying tahajjud and they're going to be really tired the next morning and get into a fight. So it's better just don't pray tahajjud, you know what I'm saying? It's better not to do that, right? But there's a big difference between continually arguing against it versus saying, I 100% it says fantastic. I personally can't do it, right? These are two different things. So like, yes, Ya Allah, please, as a sister, so Ya Allah, please give me the iman to accept my husband having three other wives and having 50,000 children. Ya Allah, please give him that thing, but I just can't deal with that, right? It's just like, for example, it's Eid and you got to slaughter, but I don't want to slaughter this lamb because he's so cute and I really like him. Like I don't want to slaughter this particular sheep because I really like him. So I understand it's the right thing to do, but I just can't do it with this sheep, right? So knowing what you can do and what you can't do, and is it a good idea to stipulate in the marriage contract that you don't practice polygamy? yes and no, right? So with a sister who is mature, this is your second marriage. Your first marriage was like that or whatever it was. And you know you're a mature individual, you know yourself, you know what you can deal with, you know what you can't deal with. And so you stipulate that in the contract that I have a right to divorce myself if my husband should take a second wife, right? That's a good thing to do. It's not a good thing to do with someone who doesn't know who they are. Because in reality, you don't realize the pros and cons, and you don't realize that could actually save your marriage, right? You don't understand life yet, right? So for a young lady doing that, she's 18 getting married, 25 getting married, it's her first marriage. It's not a very clever thing to do because you don't understand men and you don't understand yourself, and your concept of what's going on is off. So it's not a clever thing to do, right? By default. As opposed to, here's a sister, you're the Imam of the Masjid or you're advising a sister. She's been divorced twice. She's now re-getting married. She's like, I know what the deal is. I understand my errors and things that men do off and whatever. I understand that I'm not, she's mature in her relationships now. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna stipulate that. That's a clever thing to do. Right? Does that make sense? And once, Spotlight, I was at a wedding, and the Imam basically read out the contract, and it says that she has a right to divorce herself if he gets a second wife, and there was this huge takbir from the sisters. Right? Is that good or bad?
Bad.
It's not good, right? What it means is basically that's like who's playing right now at the Super Bowl? Who's playing against who?
Seahawks and the Patriots.
Okay, so that's where it makes sense to shout like, yeah, Patriots, go Patriots, right? And it's like, are you against the Sharia or something like? Are you so as a Muslim, you're like actually against polygamy? So yeah, I'm actually against polygamy. Sister, you have a problem, right? So it's one thing for an individual to say, listen, this is who I am. I respect who I am. These are my limits. I can't deal with that. Privately, I mean, officially, but privately, I'm going to stipulate this thing, and that's going to be in the contract. That's fine. As opposed to takbir, like, yeah, get him, It's like, it's off, right? It's off, right? The whole idea that you should even go into a relationship saying, I need to be able to divorce myself, that's not good. But again, this is the situation I'm in. Like, I'm not in a situation where I can just like give myself to some man and yeah, he can just take a second wife and that's just fine. Like I can't do that. I know myself and that's a good thing to do, right? But when you kind of have this kind of like girl power attitude, it's not just off,
I have a question.
Go ahead, Mason. Yeah.
Would that technically violate the husband's rights if the wife says, I'm going to divorce myself if he takes a second wife?
So now in the contract itself, there's different ways that different scholars look at the contract. So, for example, some scholars would say that doesn't mean anything. It's just a meaningless statement. Like imagine, for example, I'm what's it called? You employ me, okay? You employ me full-time job, and I say fine, but the condition is on Sundays I'm gonna watch TV. And you're like, sorry? I said, yeah, on Sundays I'm gonna watch TV. Like, yeah, but I'm just employing you to work Monday to Friday, Habibi. Like Monday to Friday, 8 to 4, I say, yeah, but I'm stipulating that I have a right to watch TV on Sundays. Like, what's that got to do with anything? So some scholars look at it like that. Like you marrying this woman is one thing. You marrying another woman is not related. They're not related. They're two different contracts. So like why they're not even related. So why would one stipulation talk about another stipulation? So some scholars just say it doesn't mean anything. If you put that in the contract, it wouldn't mean anything. It's just kind of like a mute point. Other scholars, no, they don't look like that. Other scholars, they do look at it as like there's the Hanbali school. Hanbali school is very flexible in terms of like added conditions you can put in. You can do things like that, right? And so they say that is yeah. So here basically what he's doing is she's not taking his rights. He is letting go of his rights. he actually signed that he's letting go of certain rights, that he can have a second wife, but she will have a right to divorce herself. Or that she's already divorced. It could even be like that. She says, as soon as the moment you get a second wife, she says she's already divorced, things like that. So it's not ideal, but we're not in an ideal world. Does that make sense? Mason, that makes sense?
Oh, he dropped. He came back now.
He's watching the game, that's why. Who's winning?
I think the Seahawks.
Okay, no worries. Okay. Mason, you there? Oh, you okay. So Fakhri says, from my background, my fiqh knowledge is just the bare minimum. Question: if polygamy is illegal in a country, does it become haram? Yes and no, it can be. It could arguably haram and done in a certain way. It could be, yeah. But not haram in itself. It's not haram that you can't do it because they said it's illegal. But maybe from the point of view that you're causing undue hardship for the ummah. Because like basically now you've ruined the whole rep of Muslims in a certain country or something like that. And now you mess things up for them. It could be haram from that point of view. Right. But the default is like in the West, it's like Habibi, I can be bisexual, I can cheat on my wife, she can cheat on me. That's all legal, right? Like, is it illegal to cheat on your husband? I don't think so, right? Right.
Isn't that grounds for divorce?
There's ground for divorce, but it's not illegal, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
So it's like, right. So the grounds for divorce is one thing, illegal is something else, right? So like you can do whatever you want, right? And there's many people that's like that's how they function. It's like whatever. It's like I cheat on her, she cheats on me, whatever. It's not a big deal, right? That's not illegal. So you're living in a world where I could be married to my wife and have a boyfriend. I could be married to my wife and have another girlfriend. But I can't do another nikah like Habibi. It's not making any sense, right? So, and also legally you can say, well, it doesn't, it's not marriage, it's nikah, it's two different things, right? So, like a real situation. Fakhri, for example, goes to school, marries six of his classmates, and doesn't register it. Is that called a marriage in US law?
Huh? It's just the player, I guess.
Say it again, Yusuf.
I said no, it's not. It's not.
It's not. So it's like, what do you mean by marriage, and what do we mean by marriage? What they mean by marriage, for example, in America, would be like this: for example, you were a U.S. citizen, you got married to your wife in America. Then you went to Yemen and you officiated another marriage. Now, both you and your first wife are actually criminals because you're both involved in bigamy. Both you and your wife. Your wife is involved in a bigamous relationship, and you are involved in a bigamous relationship. That's what they're talking about. That's illegal, right? As opposed to polygamy or polygyny, I didn't register any of it. It's not registered. It's not, you know, it's like what? You can't have four girlfriends. You can have four girlfriends. What's the difference then? I just call it. We just declared it in the mosque. It's the same. So legally, it's a bit. You could imagine some people like Islamophobes kind of pull it out. Look, these people do bigger. It's like really. It's not. It's kind of it's a silly. It's a lame point. 100 years ago, 200 years ago in America, that is meaningful, right? You are breaking the fabric of society. This is a monogamous society. The Mormons are breaking the fabric of society. These Muslims are breaking the fact you can't do that. You can't have more than one wife, right? It's against the culture and it's against the moral values of the society. It's not it's just empty today. It doesn't mean anything. Right? So it's a very, very different paradigm. Wallahu a'lam. Okay, so the next point it says a person is given an answer as long as he doesn't seek to hasten it. What has that got to do with zuhud? What has that got to do with zuhud, being unattached? You'll be given your dua will be answered as long as you don't seek to hasten it. What is trying to hasten something? What's that got to do with zuhud?
You're not trusting Allah's plan?
So you really, really want Ford
The dunya.
Ford F250. Okay, and you want it now, and it's got to be this color, right? And so you're making dua, and you're like, come on, come on, come on, come on, right? So what does Allah want you to do? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to make a dua for the dunya while not wanting the dunya. Oh Allah, cures my son, but it's up to you, Allah, right? The kid in the boy in Ashab al-Ukhdud, what does he say? He asks Allah to protect him from the king's men. What does he say? Who knows the story? So that the king is trying to kill this boy 3 different ways, and each time he says, it makes a dua. Says, "Oh Allah, he says, "Oh Allah, ikfinihim or ikfini sharrahum bima shit, with whatever you want. I'm not specifically want this to happen or that to happen, just anything, right?" And notice the zuhud of that boy. He's not there to live. If he will die and ever become Muslim, it's fine. So he now knows that the way that he can be killed is to tell the king to say Bismillahi Rabbil Ghulam, right? In the name of Allah, the Lord of the boy. And he's happy to die, not a problem. Right? So he doesn't care. So the dua of the believer is if you ask for specifics, you don't care about specifics. Right? Doesn't matter. I don't mind. Okay? So, but when you attach to specifics, I want a car like this. I want to marry so and so. I want this to happen by this time. Oh Allah, help me finish my master's by this time. So even if you mention the dua, mention it. So Allah, help me finish my master's as soon as I can. But when you start to get into details, it's all about you're making dua with the heart of want. I want this and I want this and I want this, right? Oh Allah, help my son get a job tomorrow and help him get to work in this place, right? It's not right. Allah, help my son get a job when it's good for him, and if it's good for him, and however it's good for him, and where it's good for him, right? So you're not being attached to specifics, right? So you're doing isti'ajal, right? Allah doesn't want you to do that, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will answer your dua, but ignore the specifics and ignore these things. Give me 1 second, please. Make sense, guys? So
Wait. I'm actually having trouble understanding it. So
okay. So here's
don't.
so let's look at things in different ways. Okay. There's I am like so let's look at doing good deeds and making dua. Okay. So you say, Mason, why did you give charity? I gave charity because I specifically want Allah to give me a Ford F250. And I want it to be this color and with these kind of wheels. And I really want this thing. Is that a good thing to do? It's a good thing to do. Is it the best thing to do? No, it's not the best thing to do. Okay. Better than that would be say I'm giving charity to save me, it's myself on Judgment Day. Ya Allah, I have sins. Ya Allah, I just want to enter Jannah. So I'm giving charity. I don't care about the dunya. I don't care what happens now. All I'm interested in is the next life. So you're not attached to the dunya, you're attached to the next life, which is good. Higher than that is I'm giving charity just for Allah. All I want is to stand before Allah on Judgment Day, and He says, Mason, I'm very, very happy with you. That's it. I'm not even thinking about Jannah or hell. We say from I don't think about that. I'm not thinking about now, nor thinking about then. I just my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's all. That's all. I don't want anything from Allah. I just want Him to be happy with me. That's all I care about. Okay? Now we fast forward to a dua, because a dua in reality is the same as a good deed. It is a good deed. Making dua is a good deed. So you made dua, say, well, oh Allah, you saw this really nice car. Say, oh Allah, please give me that car. That's good. Something Allah loves. Allah loves it when you make dua, and He doesn't like it when you don't make dua. So you saw this nice car, you saw this nice girl that you might marry, you saw a really good job, that would be such a good job, I wish I could do that. You saw somebody who has a setup in life to say, oh Allah, I want that. So you made dua for the dunya, for the sake of the dunya. You're speaking to Allah because you want something from Allah. Right? In the dunya right now. Right? I'm really hungry. Oh Allah, give me a halal hamburger. Right? That's something beautiful that Allah loves. But there's a higher one, which is, I'm not making dua, I'm making dua for the akhirah. Oh Allah, give me this in Jannah, give me and save me from hell and do these things, right? Something that Allah loves. Talking to Allah for the sake of the next life. Higher than that, I don't even care about this life or the next life. I'm talking to Allah because Allah loves me to talk to Him. That's all. Not interested in the specifics at all. Not interested. That's irrelevant to me. Whether I get cured of cancer, whether I get a job, whether the problem gets solved, I'm not interested. I'm very happy if I die of cancer tomorrow. I don't get the job. I don't care. I've let go of all of that. That's all. And the akhirah, I've let go of everything. Didn't even think about anything. Not even thinking about it. What I'm thinking about is I just want to talk to Allah. Just want to talk to Allah. So I have a pain. Pain is an excuse for me to talk to Allah. Right? Something good happens in my life, I thank Allah just to talk to Allah. I just want to talk to Allah, that's all. It's part of my relationship with Him. Whenever I have a need, I give it to Him, that's all. Just to express my relationship. Not that I want it solved. I don't care. Does that make sense? So this is a very, very, very deep and very, very pure relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So this boy, am I going to live? Am I not going to live? Are they going to protect me in this way? Or will Allah protect me? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do it. So I don't care about the results. I just care about what I'm doing and how this reflects my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does that make sense? So I'm not saying it's bad to make dua for a cup of tea. You should make dua for every single thing. But there's a big difference between somebody who's like, Ya Allah, I want I want the 2027 Ford F 12 what's it called? There's the 250, the 150. Let's just make it a bit like 150, and I want it on this date at this time for this price. And Allah help me get me the money by this time and pay it off by that time. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the same relationship. It's not the same relationship. It's not wrong. It's totally fine and good and beautiful and noble to make dua, right? There's a hadith. There is nothing more cherished, that's more akram, that's more cherished than dua. Allah cherishes it, something that He really likes when you make dua. So it's really good to make dua, but it's not the same. So when you don't care about the specifics and you don't care about the time and you don't get frustrated, you're like, yeah, it's cool. Whenever it comes, no problem. Not a problem. I have no issues, right? This is when there's barakah in it. But when you're like, I want it now. Allah, please. I asked you last week, where is it? Right? It's not the same relationship. You've changed the relationship now. Does that make sense?
Okay, so this is just like a comparison of like what's good and then what's better, right?
Okay. So it's not haram. Haram would be, I'm so annoyed with Allah. That's not good. Right? You can't say that. I'm annoyed with Allah. Just like super. So, and you'll see it. You'll see it. Like, why are you in a mood? You actually are you annoyed with what? With school, with life, i.e., with Allah, right? That's not good. That's not healthy. Because bro, Like, look at the big picture. Allah's done a lot of things for you, and He's doing a lot of things for you, and everything in your life is really good for you, but you're just negative, and you have a bad opinion of Allah. That's why you're upset, right? Like, dude, I got a C. This is so lame. I hate school. I hate everything. That attitude, I hate everything, is not good. Okay, let's go read the hadith. Who says, Babu so it's Babu man qala yustajabu lil-abdi ma lam yu'ajjil. So he says, حدثنا أبو اليمان قال حدثنا شعيب عن الزهري قال ابن عبيد مولى عبد الرحمن وكان من القراء وأهل الفقه أنه سمع أبا هريرة أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال يستجاب لأحدكم ما لم يعجل يقول دعوت فلم يستجب لي. He says to himself, go ahead, Mustafa.
Abu Hurairah reported that the Messenger of Allah, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, said, "The supplication of any of you is answered, as long as he does not get impatient and say, I made supplication and it was not answered."
So in reality, there's a hadith that mentions that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves your dua, He tells Sayyidina Jibreel, don't fulfill it for him, because He wants you to keep talking. He's not being sadistic and horrible, because He wants you to have you could have reward now, you could have your dua answered, or you could have an affliction pushed away from you. You made dua for a car, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved you from a car crash, right? You didn't know about that, because obviously you were saved, right? Or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could save it for you in the akhirah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Habibi Mustafa, I want you to have the biggest possible reward. I don't want you to give you the car right now. I want to give it to you in Jannah, which is going to be even better. So now Mustafa is cool, calm, collected. He says, okay, I'm making dua for a car. Don't know how I'm going to afford it. Don't know how I'm going to do this. He's making dua, and he's happy that the specifics that he's asking for are not coming yet. He's fine. Keeps making the dua, and he's content. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just rolling in every single time he makes dua, giving him more good deeds in the next life. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very happy with him that he's patient. And then the hadith continues and says, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't care about you, He's like, can you just give him what he wants? Because it's kind of annoying. I don't want him to talk to me. Right? Does that make sense? So
yeah,
usually getting the dunya exactly as you want is a sign it's not a good sign. Usually it means there's a problem. Right? It's like, get out of here, basically. Like, look at people of Palestine, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put them through hell and back again to give them a huge reward. Okay, the people who are not in hell and back again, what kind of reward did they get? Nothing. So it's better to be in a bad situation than a good situation most of the time, right? It's better for your dua not to be answered than to be answered, right? Because it's not actually, it's often that you're going to get a bit better reward, right? But that doesn't mean you don't make dua. You make dua for every single thing. Oh, Allah, help me charge my phone. Oh, Allah, help me get this. Or always make dua, right? You always make dua for every single thing, but let go. Let go of every single thing. Say, I don't care if it comes or not. You see a nice car, say, oh, Allah, give me that car. MashaAllah, a beautiful, nice car. Porsche Carrera. What's your favorite Porsche, Mustafa? You're not really a Porsche guy.
Yeah.
You're not a Porsche guy. You don't like Porsche to begin with.
Yeah, I don't like Porsche.
Okay, I'm not talking to you again. Fakhri, Bismillah. What's your favorite Porsche? Favorite sports car?
Don't have one.
What is it?
Favorite sports car? No, I don't have one.
Okay, talk to somebody else. Yusuf, Habibi. Saidna.
Yeah, Porsche 911 Turbo.
Thank you. Right? Porsche 911. Thank you. Right? So you see a Porsche 911. Option number 1. Oh my God, I love that. Wrong. Porsche, option number 2. Oh, I don't love that. Allah won't give it to me anyway. So you are like Zahid, but not really Zahid. You're kind of negative. So the first one is like, I love the dunya. Second is, you're really negative. Third is, Ya Allah, please give me 10 Porsche 911 2027s tomorrow and the next day, but you internally let go of all specifics. And you're very happy that doesn't happen, right? You see anything good, oh Allah, give me that. Health, wealth, safety. It's like it seems, particularly when it seems impossible, you make dua. Because you're saying, Ya Allah, I believe in your qudra, as opposed to right? So be Californian, don't be British, right? Does that make sense? Californians, positive, happy, let's go. Let's buy, let's spend, let's make money, get out there and be creative. English people, right? We just mumble to ourselves, right? So don't be British, be Californian, right? Or Yemeni. Yemenis are happy, inshallah. Okay. Yusuf's happy at least. Okay, 655. حدثنا عبد الله قال حدثنا معاوية أن ربيعة بن يزيد حدثه عن أبي إدريس عن أبي هريرة عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال يستجاب لأحدكم ما لم يدع بإثم أو قطيعة رحم أو يستعجل فيقول دعوت فلا أرى يستجيب لي فيدع الدعاء.
Abu Hurairah reported that the Messenger of Allah, may Allah bless and grant him peace, said, "The supplication of any of you is answered as long as he does not make supplication for something which is a wrong action, or cutting off ties or kinship, or becoming impatient and say, I made supplication and was not answered, and so he stops making supplication."
So he stops. Whereas the person, I wasn't even making dua for the thing anyway. I was just making dua to talk to Allah. So why would I stop making dua? Right? So the point of a need is not fulfilling the need. The point of the need is for you to establish a new and deeper and fuller and more comprehensive relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that need. Does that make sense? So Yusuf and I, we run a business. We realize we have major communication problems in our management. So we're going to go on a 1 week outing with our managers to work on, and we're paying a lot of money for this, a lot of money, flying these people out there, and they're going to do this. Basically, they're going to do these exercises where they communicate and rely on each other and need each other, right? And so we're hoping that project we're going to increase productivity by a lot. Okay, so the problems that are set for them, are they there for them to solve? No, they are there for them to develop better communication, better reliance on each other, trust, teamwork, these kind of things, right? So this is the reality of life. The reality of life is not actually solving the problem. The issue is dealing with Allah, and the problem being an excuse for you to develop your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? That's the whole point. So we always misunderstand it. Oh, I don't have any money. Oh, no, things aren't working out. It's like, yeah, Habibi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, sent you this thing, problem. He's sending it to you for you to have a new and deeper and more profound relationship with him. And you're just dumb. And you're like, yeah, why do I make dua anyway? It's not answered. Okay? So we're not here to make money. We're here to worship Allah by making money. We're not here to solve problems. We're here to worship Allah by solving problems. We're not here to fix the world. We're here to worship Allah. Big difference, right? The reason why your car broke down is for you to talk to Allah. And now you're kicking the car. Bro, Habibi, wake up. The point is, remember how you were thinking and you had the wrong way of thinking. You thought the car can just work without Allah and you weren't making dua and you didn't feel you needed Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has now stopped the car from working. It's for you to develop that relationship with him. But if you don't get the message, you have a problem. Making sense? So don't stop making dua. Understand that the whole point of the problem for which you're praying for is not the point. The point is the new relationship that you build. Whether or not you get cured, whether or not you get your problem. Okay, makes sense? And subhanAllah, I really experienced this about 6 months ago when I moved to Malaysia. It was so unbelievably hard. So hard. It's not hard for anyone. It was not like a refugee or something like that, but it was super hard. I remember like real deep sujood. And I was like, oh, I get it. Why am I doing like real deep sujood? Why is the quality of my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so good? Because I'm in so much need. So was the point that you actually find a place to rent, the point that you find a solution to your problem, the point that you get this, or was the point that you found that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? They're like, oh my God, I'm so dumb. Right? So how do you say, oh my God, I'm so dumb in Arabic? Astaghfirullah. Doesn't mean say, Allah, I've missed the point so many times. Please forgive me. And I'm now ready to wake up and have these new, deeper relationships with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Someone who seeks refuge in Allah from laziness. May Allah protect us from laziness. Okay, so it says, حدثنا عبد الله قال حدثني الليث قال حدثني ابن الهادي عن عمرو بن شعيب عن أبيه and جده. So in reality, this is a book. So what's happening here is Imam Bukhari is saying that my teacher said that his teacher said that his teacher had a book dictated to him. So when he says Amr ibn Shu'ayb an Abihi and Jaddihi, this is a book that was narrated from Amr ibn Shu'ayb, from his father, from his grandfather, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As. Okay? So Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As, he had a book of hadith, Sahabi, and that book was passed down to his son and then to his grandson. Right? So you're going to frequently see the chain Amr ibn Shu'ayb an Abihi and Jaddihi, so and so from his father, from his grandfather. That's actually in reality just a book. Right? Now, there's an issue with this book, which is that in order for a book to have value, it has to be read from generation to generation. So what does that mean? It means I give some instructions on a piece of paper to Mustafa, and I say, Mustafa, let's read these instructions together. It says A, B, and C. You get it? So yeah. You understand what it means? So yeah. You know, Mustafa reads it, somebody else says, look, it says this, this, this. As opposed to a piece of paper. So you will find hadith critics looking at hadiths like this, Amr ibn Shu'ayb an Abihi and Jaddihi, and say, Innama huwa kitab. It's just a book, i.e. with no actual direct studying. So for us, in the West, or the Orientalists, they're looking at manuscripts. They're saying, where's the manuscript? For us, we don't care about manuscripts. If we have a chain of transmission with so-and-so studied from so-and-so, that's useful. And if we have a manuscript with no chain of transmission, it's useless. Does that make sense? So obviously a manuscript is nice because in principle it doesn't change, right? But the question is, who wrote this manuscript? Who changed it? Maybe your dad was 60 years older than you, and he died when you were 5. And he left this book with your uncle, and your uncle gave it to a hadith scholar who added hadiths to it because it thought it was useful. And then when you got older, you said, oh, where's that book that I heard of? And you went and got it back. And somebody has changed the book that your dad wrote. Who knows? Right? So that's why when you have a manuscript, you have to have sama'at. Did you actually hear this book read out? What was actually said? Right? And so it's very interesting. That's number one. Number two, inshallah, I'll come back to number two. I'll talk number two is this hadith is again indicative of a hadith that would not be in Bukhari and Muslim. So Amr ibn Shu'ayb and Abihi and Jaddihi is kind of 50-50. Some people accept it, some people don't. So Imam Ahmad was asked about hadith like this. Hadith is narrated from Amr ibn Shu'ayb and Abihi and Jaddihi. He said basically, if they wish, the muhaddithin, they will abandon it, they will leave it. And if they wish, they'll act according to it. So how is that possible? If a hadith was sahih, you'd have to act upon it, correct? If a hadith is sahih, can you just ignore it? You can't do that, right? And if a hadith is weak, we should just ignore it, correct?
No.
No. So when Imam Ahmad says hadiths like this, the muhaddithin, they might act upon it, might not act upon it, depends. It means there are things that are totally whack and fake and wrong. We ignore those. And there are things that are super reliable. And there's a huge gray area in between. And it is not true that we just ignore weak hadiths. And it is not true that we just apply every single Sahih hadith. It's not true. Because if that were the case, he couldn't possibly say that they have a choice. Right? It'd have to be binary. It's weak, throw it out the window. It's strong, keep it. It's not like that. It's not like that. You know, Imam Ahmad, for example. So Imam Ahmad will act upon the hadith sometimes, not on chains like this, sometimes not. Right? So, for example, the majority of scholars, the Shafi'is, Malikis, and Hanafis, we act upon a particular hadith from Amr ibn Shu'ayb and Abihi and Jaddihi that the Prophet forbade unrefundable deposits. Right? You can't do that. Like you go and get something from Home Depot, right? Rent something, and you leave a deposit. You can't do that according to the Shafi'is. Hanafis and Malikis, it's haram. Can't do it. Because the Prophet forbade Naha Rasulullah an bayn al-arbu, and the Prophet forbade unrefundable deposits. As narrated by Amr ibn Shu'ayb and Abihi and Jaddihi. Right? And also Amr ibn Shu'ayb and Abihi and Jaddihi narrates the Prophet said, command your children to pray at 7 and beat them concerning it at 10. So Imam Ahmad, what does he do? He follows one hadith but not the other hadith. He follows the hadith about commanding your children to pray, even though the hadith is kind of 50-50, and he does not follow the other one. Imam Ahmad, he said unrefundable deposits are totally fine. Because the hadith is not that amazing, and there's contradictory evidence from some of the Salaf. Some of the Salaf said an unrefundable deposit is halal, right? So he used those fatwa from some of the Salaf, plus the fact that the hadith was a bit fishy, and he said, no, it's okay. You can do unrefundable deposits, right? Whereas the majority of scholars act upon his hadith on that. So it's kind of 50-50. There's lots of things out of 50-50. This is what an extremist doesn't understand. He sees everything as black and white, but it's not. There's black, white, and gray. And that gray area is pretty big. Okay, it comes in hadith, it comes in language, it comes in all sorts of things. Okay, so 2 points with the hadith. Number one, when so-and-so narrates from so-and-so, I want to know that you actually studied with him. Not that he just gave you a book. And who knows who wrote that book? Oh, I have a piece of the original Bible. Okay, who wrote it then? I don't know. Okay, what's the point then? I don't know who wrote it. You have a manuscript. Who wrote the manuscript? I don't know. So that doesn't mean that much, does it? Right? So we want you to study that thing. That's number one. Number two, what is it? A hadith, that those gray area hadiths are many, and they may be acted upon, may not be acted upon. And at the same time, a sahih hadith might be ignored. So there's a sahih hadith, for example, that the Prophet ﷺ said, when Nisf Sha'ban passes, as is now, right? We are now in the second half of Sha'ban. Okay, when Nisf Sha'ban passes, then do not fast. Unless it's going to be a fast that you were already going to fast, such as a qada or something. So the Shafi'is, we apply that hadith. It is haram in the Shafi'i school to fast in the second half of Sha'ban, unless you were fasting in the beginning half of Sha'ban. Imam Ahmad does not follow that hadith, even though it's sahih. In the Sunan Nasa'i and in Bukhari, the Prophet ﷺ described that when he was coming out of his first rak'at, that he would pause and then get up. Come out of his second sujood and pause and then get up. The hadith is sahih, it's in Bukhari. Imam Ahmad does not apply it. So the idea that I just follow Quran and Sunnah, meaning I just follow sahih hadiths and I reject weak hadiths, nobody does that on the face of the earth. That's not the methodology of anybody. Why? Because it's a lot more complex than that. It's a lot more complex than that. I'm an investor. What do? I invest in good investments and I don't do in bad investments. Habib, what's a good investment? What's a bad investment? It's not as simple as that. If it was that simple, then everybody would make tons of money. It's not that simple. Right? Inshallah, it makes sense. So we'll stop here. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.